So farming in Skullgirls Mobile is a little different from the usual concept we're familiar with. It's not like there's a single stage that you can do over and over again and expect the same amount of rewards every time. There will always be diminished returns beyond the first time you clear a node. So what I'm trying to say is, though farming in this game still exists, it can never be from just one spot. It's pretty close to actual farming if you think about it. That would explain all the eggplants, tomatoes, and zucchinis lying around.
And that's organic fertilizer.
And this is why it's even more important for new players to be able to navigate through the different game modes to be able to efficiently farm whatever currencies or materials they need to get stronger. With all that being said, what is up guys, and this is episode 5 of my Skullgirls Mobile Newbie Guide. In this video, I discuss where you can farm all the different resources in the game.
So let's start with farming Canopy Coin. So one of the most common and accessible sources of coin is from daily events. Each section has a total of 14 nodes, which includes 2 treasure nodes that require you to use the featured fighter and 1 boss node. Clearing 100% of an entire section gives a considerable amount of Canopy Coin that varies with the difficulty. I will compile all total daily event Canopy Coin Yields in the video description. Daily events refresh every 24 hours and feature different pairs of fighters each day.
Now, a lot of newer players might not be able to clear 100% of events, especially in expert and master difficulty.
In that case, you can go for advanced or basic until your fighters get much stronger. Don't worry, you'll get there.
And speaking of needing stronger fighters, the Accursed Experiments event gives you over 150,000 Canopy Coin total, but you can only do this once a week, and it is very difficult to do if you're still new. Prize fight milestones are another source of coin. These milestones are pretty easy to reach depending on how high you can get your win streaks. Gold prize fight milestones give you a total of 165,000 Canopy Coin. Silver milestones give half the amount, and bronze milestones gives you 1/4 of it. However, my favorite source of Canopy Coin is the MEDICI prize fights. With relatively low score milestones with high Canopy Coin yields per cutoff, finishing the whole thing gives you a total of 330,000 Canopy Coin. The average player can probably clear all the milestones in 1 to 2 sittings. If you have extra time on your hands, going for top 100 gives you an extra 250,000 Canopy Coin, but these attempts should be reserved for late game players. Now, although most modifiers are relatively easy to play around, watch out for the gene therapy and off-tempo mods because they can get really annoying. Another source of Canopy Coin, albeit inconsistent, is from friend gifts. If you have a full set of friends who consistently give you gifts, you will earn variable amounts of coin. However, it's not something you can rely on too often because not all gifts give coin when opened. Next up is story mode as a possible source of coin. Between all the treasure nodes and 100% clear bonuses, you will get a considerable amount of coin just by finishing the story mode. Technically though, it's not exactly a place you can farm because it's a one-time payoff. Once you're done with every difficulty of story mode, there's not much coin to earn from doing it again, unlike prize fights and dailies which refresh the rewards over time. Lastly, we have THEONITE conversion. Saving 1,600 THEONITE and converting them to 1.8 million Canopy Coin is one of the best investments you can make in this game. I strongly suggest doing this as soon as you can. So this brings me to the next farmable resource. So THEONITE is this game's premium currency, which you can usually buy in bulk with real money. The game, however, is generous enough to give us multiple ways to earn them for free. The first is through random daily missions, where clearing all of them gives you around 40 to 60 THEONITE daily. Another way to get THEONITE is something discussed earlier, which is fighter prize fight milestones. Completing all the milestones of each prize fight gives you a fixed total of 55 THEONITE. This means completing the bronze, silver, and gold prize fight milestones gives you a total of 165 THEONITE. Now that may not seem like much, but think about it. In a week, you get 2 sets of fighter prize fights and 7 sets of daily missions, giving a total weekly THEONITE yield of around 600. That's pretty generous considering you won't have to spend real money for it. Now there is another source of THEONITE, and you can find this by replaying story mode for additional missions. There will be various requirements and rewards depending on the chapter and difficulty. Some require you to land big combos, while others require you to finish a fight without suffering damage. So you can try doing these if you're in immediate need of THEONITE. Though again, this is only a one-time payoff. Next up, we have Rift Coin. It's that round blue thingy that looks like a shocked emoji. Well, if you can't unsee it, neither can I. Rift Coin is an alternate form of currency that you can use to purchase various resources and materials from the cabinet. One can even argue that this is more valuable than Canopy Coin and THEONITE, simply because of how hard it is to farm. Because you know, the only consistent way to get Rift Coin is to do Rift battles. I mean, you know, I don't know what else to say, guys. Well, that's probably why they're called Rift Coin, right? But hey, you don't even have to win. Just play enough battles to reach the necessary cutoff to get your weekly rewards. And I know some people will insist that lower rank rewards are not worth the trouble. But everyone has to start somewhere. And for newer players, even something like 50 Rift Coin can go a long way. You can also get varying amounts of Rift Coin from friend gifts, but again, it won't exactly be consistent. Next, we have Elemental Essence. This is a major component needed to evolve a Gold Fighter to Diamond. You'd always need 3,000 shards of the required element for each evolution. There are two main sources of elemental shards. First is via the elemental prize fight milestones that are available every weekend. Completing all milestones gives you 410 shards of the corresponding element and 2 elemental relics, with each relic also giving a varying amount of shards. This brings the weekly total from elemental prize fights close to 500 shards. You also get extra ranking rewards from elemental prize fights, and luckily it guarantees you a third elemental relic if you scored at least 900,000 points. Your second source of shards is from Master Difficulty daily events. The 2 treasure nodes give 20 shards each, and the boss node gives 10 shards. With at least 2 fighter dailies per day, this gives you a total of at least 100 assorted shards daily. Clearing accursed experiments for the first time gives you 3,000 shards of a single random element. Although this is just a one-time thing, this one single payout is exactly enough essence for you to evolve 1 gold fighter to diamond. Lastly, if you really want to rush evolving your gold fighters, you can spend Rift Coin in the cabinet for varying amount of shards. Now one last thing, elemental shards are arguably the hardest materials to farm in bulk. Elemental prize fights change every week, and daily shard rewards are randomized. Because of this, it will take a really long time to complete an entire set to evolve a single gold fighter. But if you consider the rest of the requirements, you also need 5 extra gold fighters, which also takes a lot of time. This really just means that evolving a gold to a diamond is a long-term investment and was never meant to be rushed. It also means that when you finally get there, choose who to evolve wisely. Next up, we have keys. For newer players, the fastest way to accumulate keys is via story mode. The keys you get depends on the difficulty you play. Basic gives you bronze keys, advanced gives you silvers, and so on. Then if you go to origin stories, you'll find some more. But as I said earlier, story mode is a one-time thing, and although you get a lot of keys from it, you'll eventually run out and have to look to other sources. You can also find keys in prize fight event rewards, and the amount and type varies on which prize fight you played and what rank you end up in. Score high in bronze prize fights for bronze keys, silver prize fights for silver keys, and gold prize fights for gold keys. Finishing the boss node of Accursed Experiments gives you a bronze, silver, and gold key, and the treasure node also gives random keys. So if you're strong enough, this is also an additional weekly source of keys. You can also find keys in the cabinet, which can be purchased with either Canopy Coin or Rift Coin. Although personally, I wouldn't spend on keys from cabinet unless they're diamond keys. Over time, you'll have more bronze, silver, and gold keys than you'll ever want. Now I think I should talk about diamond keys separately. There's really only one way to farm diamond keys, and that's via Rift weekly rewards starting from diamond rank onwards. For the rest of the player base, the best way to get diamond keys are not exactly by farming, but by committed exchanges in cabinet with either 1 million Canopy Coin or 1,250 Rift Coin. Of course, there's also Master Difficulty Story Mode as a source of diamond keys, but again, it's just a one-time payoff. Now, fast leveling is one of the most commonly requested topics by new players, so I figured I'd count experience as another farmable resource. The best way to farm experience is through prize fights. The goal is to reach a high streak to face stronger teams, and this will give you considerably more experience. You also get extra experience called the long shot bonus if the team you beat is significantly stronger than yours. You can induce a long shot bonus by using only one strong attacker and two significantly weaker teammates. This piggyback method is also the best way to level up weaker fighters who otherwise have no chance at beating these stronger teams. After all, the entire team gets the experience from winning even if only one fighter did all the work. To make leveling even more efficient, use a double XP boost to, double your XP. Okay, so I will show this to you in action, but I have to discuss this next resource first. Skill points. Farming skill points is one of the two main reasons for not sacrificing fighters, the other being evolving. When a fighter levels up, you're awarded skill points per level depending on a fighter's current rarity. Bronzes give 1 skill point per level, silvers give 2, golds give 5, and diamonds give 10. The most efficient way to milk skill points from fighters is through piggybacking, which I explained in the previous section. So let's demonstrate both fast leveling and skill point farming in this example. I'm currently in around streak 40 and I'm fighting a fully stacked team with a total score of over 100,000. I have only one functional fighter, which is Somersault with a fighter score of 26,000 and 2 backline fighters with only 400 each. This means I auto-lose if Somersault dies, which is an inherent risk of doing this method. So basically, I have to pull off an OCV or I lose my entire streak and I have to build it up all over again. Wait, why am I blocking while I have full meter? No! Oh, god damn it! Okay, since we're doing this again, I might as well show you the whole thing. So let's say I want to farm Eliza's skill points. I just throw in my low-level Elizas with one attacker up front. This lowers my team score to 25k, which is a significant gap from the opposing 92k. I already did most of the explaining in the last fight, so this one will be much cleaner. If I lose this, I don't know, I'll delete my channel. I can't keep embarrassing myself like this. Alright, there you go. So let's check the amount of experience I get from this fight. Alright, so as you can see, I get over 100,000 XP, which is a lot. Also note the 70% long shot bonus. Also take note that I did use a double XP boost, so without it, I would have gotten around 50k, which is still a lot of levels, especially for weaker fighters. So some of you guys must be thinking, well, this is a newbie guide. Most new players don't have the firepower to beat those kinds of teams. Well, piggybacking doesn't require your opponents to be that strong. Beating 30k teams with a 7k fighter, for example, still gives a nice chunk of XP. Players in any stage of the game can employ piggybacking and long shots, and the only thing that will differ is the scale at which it can be done. Okay, so back to skill points. You can earn skill points by doing dailies, though they will be restricted to the featured fighter. The same goes for fighter prize fight rewards. Clearing 100% of the Accursed Experiment event gives you 25 skill points of every fighter each week. Finally, you can exchange Rift Coin for skill points in the cabinet. I believe this is one of the best value for Rift Coin in the early game, where skill points are hard to find, and the very late game, where people are trying to level up their marquee abilities. Now the last farmable resource in this video is Relic Shards. So this is basically how you can farm fighters, albeit from a long-term standpoint. You collect Relic Shards by obtaining new fighters, and the shards you collect depends on the rarity. Whenever you get a bronze, you get 40 silver shards, or 4% of a silver relic, as displayed on the lower left. Pulling a silver gives you 4% of a gold relic, and pulling a gold gives you 4% of a diamond relic. Long story short, pulling 25 fighters of one rarity guarantees you a fighter of a higher one. Now evolving doesn't give you any relic shards. But hey, guess what? Fighters obtained by prize fights do count. Additionally, relic shards are available as weekly rewards in rift battles and in elemental prize fights as well. What this means is, just by playing the game, you're eventually guaranteed silver fighters, which eventually guarantee gold fighters, which eventually guarantee a diamond fighter. It's really just a question of how long and how much you play the game. This system is one of the many things that makes Skullgirls Mobile great for free players. Hard work pays off. Alright, speaking of hard work, there's one very last thing I want to talk about with you all. I think most of you have already noticed by now, but maybe even more so after watching this video, but farming in this game has no real shortcut. Even players who have spent real money on the game still have to invest a lot of time and effort in leveling and evolving all their fighters. So the next time you see a player with a lot of maxed out diamonds, resist the urge to make snide remarks about whaling and credit cards. See, I've been in the upper ranks of Skullgirls Mobile for a long time, and I've even made it to the very top twice. And this much I can tell you, this is a game ruled by the workers and grinders, not the whales and spenders. Majority of the top players are either completely free to play or occasionally spend money just for a bit of convenience and also as a goodwill gesture to support the devs. So dismissing a player with strong fighters as just some whale, at least for this particular game, is in my opinion kind of ignorant and quite frankly a bit distasteful. And hey, this might change in the future. Maybe one day this game will become just another pay-to-win clown fest. However, if you ask me, I have faith in the devs and do believe that this game will maintain its current level of integrity towards free players. So that's it guys, I hope you all learned something. If you made it this far into the video, you should know that it really means a lot to me. Thank you very much for watching. And you know what I'm gonna say next.